Hello there, and welcome into this Cancer season reading. So let's jump into it with a Celtic cross. I don't know, I'm really messing around here with this hummingbird stone, so I'm into this green color as well. So we'll see if this has anything to do with heart space or heart chakra energy. Cancer is the ruler of the fourth house. Heart chakra is the fourth chakra, so maybe there's some kind of correlation there. Also maybe themes about home, Mother Earth, emotions, even protection. So let's just see what comes out. If this is your birthday season, happy birthday. And do you have any placements in Cancer in your birth chart? I do not. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. All right. I hope you're doing well. If I didn't say it already, thank you for showing up and helping share and bring energy to the reading. All right. Let's see what is at sort of the heart of the reading, the theme of the reading here for Cancer season. Ooh, Two of Swords. All right, so you could be at some sort of crossroads, making a choice. Maybe tapping more into your intuition. And she's standing in front of all of this water. So really maybe tapping more into your feelings over kind of logical thought. But let's see what wants to come out. Let's see what is either crossing or maybe helping you. Seven of Pentacles. So this could be the way you invest your time, effort, whether that's in people, in yourself. We might clarify some of these. We'll just see kind of what comes out first here, and then we'll add more to it if we need to. Right, so you could be deciding to change or shift what you've been focusing on, especially if what that is hasn't been paying any dividends or really reciprocating, the time and effort that you've put in. You might not see anything in return. All right, past energy, we've got Hermit in reverse. So you could have been kind of really putting yourself out there a little bit more, maybe not taking as much time for yourself. You could have been investing and giving more into other people. There could have been some situations that maybe have, brought you some lessons, but have you incorporated those, or have you even noticed or seen those? You could still be giving, maybe to a situation, where you're not really seeing something clearly, or you're not really grasping 3:33 as I look at the timer. So yeah, this definitely could have to do with other people. But yeah, you might not be just grasping the lesson that you need to learn, or just not seeing things clearly, or really taking in the information. Like you might have blinders on, as she has this blindfold on in the first card there. All right, let's see here. Five of Pentacles. So you could be operating out of loss, lack, low self-worth, some sort of woundedness. All right, that's sort of what's been maybe directing your decisions or on your mind. You're really focusing on how you've been hurt in the past, whether this is with family, could be with a family situation, or of course work, romantic relationship, friendship, whatever it may be. All right, let's see what's at the root here. Yeah, you might even be replaying things in your head and just kind of going round and round, and really in that sort of negative loophole on the bad things that have happened. And yeah, we've got the Five of Cups at the root of the reading. So not only in your mind are you sort of replaying and really focusing your mental capacity on the hurt and the pain, but also emotionally and in your heart space, you're really just focused. You know, there's a lot of blood here on this card. So the blood that's been spilled. So there could have been some sort of fight. And that really has you feeling sad. So this definitely does feel, you know, like it has to do with a situation with either another person. Again, it could be your job, like fill in the blank, but we'll just kind of do the rest of the reading as if this is with another person. And remembering, you know, there are 2 cups behind this person, nice and shiny, no blood all over the place. But when you're only focused on sort of replaying those events, maybe that's what you're focusing your time and energy on, is just kind of replaying like what happened, what went wrong, but not really, again, grasping that lesson and learning what you can from it so you can move forward. So you might definitely be sort of stuck in some sort of loophole like that. All right, let's get into the future energy here. Ooh, that went flying. King of Pentacles. All right, that feels a little bit better. A lot of Pentacle energy coming out as well. So you might have heavy earth in your chart, or need to do some grounding to get back into your body and kind of out of this like hurt, woundedness, and rough mental space. But King of Pentacles is abundant, solid. If this does have to do with money, I think in the future things are going to be looking up. Maybe you will get a little bit of return on your investment. All right, let's see here. We'll finish the Celtic Cross and then we might grab a couple more cards here to add to it. But definitely moving forward, you will be getting more solid, more grounded, back into your power and reclaiming the energy that you might have been giving away, or that effort that you might have been giving away, and really maybe even focusing on yourself a little bit more. All right, let's see here. What's your internal environment? Ooh, Judgment. All right, and I just finished a summer solstice reading. If you haven't checked it out, we've got this Judgment card, which felt a little harsh. So some of this is resonating for you. That might be a good one to check out. But with Judgment here, you might be, again, heavily judging yourself. Maybe you're throwing blame and judgment on someone else. But, you know, there is sort of this, I feel like, realization here with this card. He's holding up that large trumpet, and it looks like it's blaring from the clouds with some flames here. So you might be reigniting a little bit of your fire and passion, or maybe you're finally willing to kind of take a really good hard look at things and starting to maybe glean some of that wisdom, so we can get this Hermit maybe more in the upright here. And I'm really picking up on like all the bright yellow on the future card in your internal environment. So that can be illumination, realization, motivation, you know, moving forward. All right, let's see here. External environment that may be influencing you. We got 2 cards. Let's see what these are. Ooh, Page of Rods and the Devil. All right, so around you, there definitely could be some toxicity. You could be either being influenced or maybe hanging around people that, you know, are really pushing you in the wrong direction, not really on your right path. This could have to do with, you know, maybe you're partying a lot or doing something like that, and that's really not serving you well at all. Right? You're investing your time sort of in the wrong activities or actions, and that keeps bringing you into this loop of disappointment, not feeling good. Right? Maybe you're even disappointed with yourself. You know, maybe you've got sort of that one person or that one friend that like every time you hang out with them or you're with them, right, you're just doing things you shouldn't be doing, right? Not necessarily blaming them because you are the person making your own choices. But there could be a level of immaturity here. For others of you, this could even be, you know, if this is in relationships or just even like hooking up with other people, something like that, right? That could leave you feeling really empty afterwards. And you might be, again, in some sort of cycle where, you know, that fills a void for a moment, but then has you really feeling either ashamed or down or with that low self-worth afterwards. All right, let's see what is it helping or hurting you? Right, what you're hoping for, or maybe what you're afraid of. Let's see. The Magician. All right, so you might be hoping for magic, some sort of gifts to come online. You could be hoping, you know, to take control and really start to make better choices, go down a new path, like go after what you want. But that can be really scary at the same time. So, you know, this could be about being excited or really wanting to tap into your own power. Again, maybe you're shifting away from whatever these situations or behaviors are and trying to do something different and move forward. But again, that could be really scary, or you might be afraid that that's not going to work, right? Or that you can't do it. But with the Magician here, like, you definitely can. You have all of the tools. You're super, super powerful. Double infinity signs on this card. All right, let's get one for the outcome. Ace of Cups wanted to come out. Let's get those two. Hopefully more clarity here in the outcome. Ooh, Queen of Rods and Justice. A couple majors going up the path here. So this could be you finding your sovereignty or getting more creative. Again, being really strong in your own will and personal power. Maybe you're putting your foot down in some sort of situation here. Really facing. Oh, she's facing us here, as is the King of Pentacles. So facing what's been going on. Really focusing more on your happiness. Again, maybe your creativity, but definitely finding the motivation and then noticing how this is going to make a shift. Things are going to start to adjust and start to tip the scales. You can see that they're not fully balanced here. So things have maybe been completely out of balance, completely right out of whack. I mean, it seems like it with a lot of this 5 energy, even the 7 of Pentacles here. All right, let's see. What do we want to clarify? Let's use the Wizard Tarot. All right. All right, so whatever the situation is with the lack, the loss, the hurt, the pain, right, what does this have to do with? Maybe bad investment of your time. 3 of Swords, so definitely some sort of heartbreak, maybe even feeling like you've been stabbed in the heart. So for some of you, this feels like more of a personal relationship, whether it is with family or it is with love. Right, but there's definitely been wounding that you know, are ready to start to heal from. And when we have had situations where we do feel like we've been betrayed, or, you know, our heart is just hurting really bad, it can be really easy to start to, right, do destructive behaviors or make choices that we know aren't really good for us in the long run, but they might if I could speak. Maybe Mike is an important name for you or significant in some way, but they might, you know, have us trying to, right, fill that pain, that void, or avoid it altogether, by, you know, whether it's drinking or, you know, playing the field, hooking up, you know, fill in the blank, right? There's a bunch of other things, gambling even with some of these pentacles that are out here. Yeah, you just didn't really get the future that you were hoping for. Judgment again here. So, you know, there's a lot of harsh judgment going on, and you're being really critical. And I feel like it's more directed at yourself than anything. Like, you know, I mean, I've definitely done things in the past where it's like, how could I be so stupid? How did I not see, right, with this Hermit in reverse? And you just keep focusing on that instead of, you know, just learning that lesson and moving on and doing something different and making a better choice. All right, so definitely a heartbreak here. Let's clarify with the King of Pentacles in the future, right? This abundance. So getting out of your head spinning and your heart hurting into feeling more grounded. I just saw the Strength card. Yeah, Ten of Swords, you're ready to put all of this behind you. So you may feel like you've been stabbed in the back or that you've been really wounded, right? I feel like we've talked about that enough. But Ten's, you know, next phase is back to a 1. So really shifting your mindset here and not letting yourself keep repeating the same thing over and over and over. Like, do we really want an 11th sword stabbing us in the back? No. All right, so getting out of that, learning your lessons, getting more clarity. Let's get one more with this here. Yeah, King of Swords, as I was just talking about getting more clarity, getting unstuck. The King of Swords, and this is detaching from whatever this is, right? Whatever this is, it's been no good for you. So it's definitely time to move on. And that can be really, really challenging, right? So getting your headspace right, getting your mindset right so you can get into this abundant, confident, grounded, successful, right? All of those qualities that the King of Pentacles has. All right, let's see here with this Page of Wands and the Devil. Yeah, with the Star, I mean, for some of you, this could be drinking. Look at how she's dumping out those cups. So you might be done with that, over that, or whatever this toxicity is. It's time to start healing from that. It's time to make yourself important, put yourself front and center, and focus more on healing instead of continuing, right, to run around with whatever is going on in the external environment. You're ready to, like I said, dump that out, find more balance, leave that behind. All right, with the Magician and your hopes and fears, let's clarify the Magician. Yeah, Six of Swords at the bottom. The Magician is clarifying the Magician. All right, so you definitely have the power, the ability, the strength, all the tools necessary, right? So once you're able to get out of and away from whatever this situation is or behavior is that you might be partaking in or continuing to give your effort to, and get more into this King of Pentacles, right, you're going to find success. And this is going to be a really big shift, right? Like a year from now, you might not even recognize yourself, and that's in a positive, really good way. With the Six of Swords at the bottom of the deck, you are leaving some sort of situation, you know, moving past whatever this is. I had a feeling the Magician was going to come out again. And on that summer solstice reading, right, the Magic card came out, right? So this is some kind of really important shift. So just trusting that you can do it. Yeah, definitely trusting, making it more of a hope instead of a fear, not letting your fear hold you back. All right, let's see with the outcome, Queen of Rods and Justice. Ten of Wands, you're definitely ready to put down burdens. And look at all the lights lighting up there on his like antler crown or whatever he's wearing. I do love this card. And it does feel a little bit, it reminds me of the Hermit. Like he's in the brown cloak, he's got the white hair, he's got the wisdom, and the light bulbs are going off. Like you're finally getting it. Especially once you're able to dump out the toxicity and move more towards healing, that's where you get more clear. Then when you start finding the motivation to go after the things that you really, really want and trusting that you can do it, right? You're leaving those burdens behind and you're moving on. You're moving on from the challenge and into more ease. And with the Nine of Pentacles here at the bottom of the deck and Justice, right? So Justice again, this is a shift into realigning with yourself, right? You're the one in charge. You can tip the scales. And giving the time, energy, and effort that you've maybe been putting into people, places, and things that are not serving you whatsoever, and putting that into yourself, investing in yourself, trusting yourself. Look at how freaking confident this woman is, right? You are a badass. So once you're able to make that shift, right, that's really how you're going to start to feel. You're going to start to embody that energy. And like I said, you know, maybe you journal a little bit and write down how you're feeling in this exact moment today. Go back, you know, maybe even 9 months from now, and you might not even recognize yourself in a really good way, right? You're going to be so proud of how far you've come, what you've been able to accomplish, right? But it really just takes you making those shifts and changes. Wow, this is a really powerful feeling reading. It feels intense, but the good kind of intensity. Again, this isn't necessarily going to be easy, but I feel like you're really fired up and motivated to really start to invest more in yourself. So I hope you are finding some of this in Cancer season and really starting to put the effort into yourself, because you definitely deserve it. All right, so that is what we've got here for this reading. You know, I hope the shift is for you. I hope you're finding more positive, helpful things that serve you best. And until next time, peace.